Exclamation, everybody, and welcome back to Soul Zero. I just put another farm down here, so we're even Steven there, and we're making some food for our colonists. We're coming up shortly on another launch window. I'd like to put another habitat down, which actually might be a good idea regardless. But before we do that, let's do some genetics. Okay, we're at 2.2. So we can call this 0.8 out. Let's get these two homogenizating and see what comes out the other side. So, one of the things, kind of I guess a programming note. I'm not sure how to classify this. Let me before I go off track here, let me get this launch going. Do I want to do it right now? Yeah. Do I want to bring colonists up right now, or do I want to wait? I feel like I should wait for the biology lab to get me some good stuff going. Yeah. Let's wait a little bit. Let me do some biology here, and then that gives me a chance to talk with you folks for a little bit. One piece of feedback I got a long time ago on the channel, when I was doing I forget what series I was doing a Let's Play on, to be honest with you. Oh, it was Minecraft, I believe, from the Livecraft Mine server. And I got a piece of feedback that I sort of been trying to adhere to, which is, hey, we'd really like it if you talked more about the game and kept your commentary on what's going on in the game rather than turning us into another Cube Ramblings kind of thing, where you just kind of ramble on about any old thing. And I don't, you know, that's very good feedback. It's not, nothing against that person. I think that's good feedback. I think that's a good thing to know. The problem is, and I got that feedback like maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I don't remember exactly. The thing is, I struggle, you know, for some of these long-running series like Soul Zero, I struggle to, when I stick to the game, especially something like this that I have been doing for such a long time, we went down a step there, huh? I struggle to find ways to keep the game, keep my commentary on the game interesting, because I've pretty much seen everything, I've pretty much done everything multiple times, and there's not much else that there's not much personality that I can really inject to it. And to be perfectly fair and honest, I have very little personality to begin with. One of the reasons I started a YouTube channel was the hope that I would, through being forced to talk and be somewhat entertaining, that I would actually figure out that, yes, indeed, all these years I actually did have a personality somewhere buried deep down inside. And so I'm thinking, and I'm very much open to more feedback on this, but I'm thinking, at least for Soul Zero anyway, that I'd like to probably try to inject a little bit more personality. Ooh, 3.4, excellent. I like to try to inject a little bit more personality into this, which means I'm probably going to ramble on about things, you know, I'm not like a storyteller per se. I don't really have stories necessarily to talk about, and I don't always have topics even to talk about. But I feel like it would help something like this if I actually, you know, injected something interesting, possibly interesting into the fold. So for a little while here, I'm going to try to venture off topic a little bit, maybe not always talk strictly about the game and what I'm thinking next in the game and all that stuff. I'll still have that injected in there, but it's still, you know, it's not a, I like to try and be a little distracted, I guess. Is the best way I could put that, as I do the game. And I I very much welcome your feedback as to whether or not you want me to. You think I should stick strictly to commentating directly on the gameplay, or if it's okay if I, indulge myself a little bit from time to time here. Oh, we don't have enough clay again. Okay. Back to some clay mining, I'd say. So actually, we might be able to squeeze a little bit more out of this little area there, possibly. All right, so where are we at now? So biology's up pretty good, I would say. So I should be able to bring some colonists up, and then put some strains of bacteria down. In fact, I'll put the strains of bacteria down first, and then get some colonists up here, so we can not be on the cusp of disaster, as we tend to be right now. Is there anything else? Let's grab this one little piece over here if we can. So I think last episode I was talking a little bit about some IRL stuff that I'm not going to go into detail with, but I was also getting on the topic of Star Trek and stuff, and Birth of the Federation and all that stuff, and it got me thinking. There's every so often I go out. Oh, you know what? There's a whole big thing of clay up here. I didn't even realize that. I'm looking down here for clay. I'm like, oh, there's a whole big section up here. I occasionally, when it comes to sci-fi stuff like Star Trek, Star Wars, I do occasionally go on the YouTubes and look around and some fan sites and all that stuff, and look at some of the fan-made films. And even like fan-made TV series ish things. What's a good example? There was a Star Wars movie that fans made, and LucasArts was always, or Lucasfilm, I should say, was always pretty good about that. I don't know how good Disney is about it now that they own it, but Lucasfilm was always pretty accepting of that. And there was one fan film, and granted, the fan films the acting's not top notch. I mean, you're talking about people who aren't really actors trying to act, so you gotta sort of forgive some of that. And obviously, makeup and all that stuff is subpar. But this one in particular, and I don't remember the name of it, and I apologize. But the CGI work that they did in it was actually pretty darn good. I mean, the story was bleh, but the all the CG sets that they walked through, it was all green screen. They made these very lovely CG sets, like bar sets and all that stuff. And I was like, man, that's really cool. And then upon looking at that, I looked at a lot of the Star Trek stuff. A lot of Star Trek fan-made series and films and stuff. There was one series in particular, the quality of which is a bit hard to swallow, I think. But I think it was called Hidden Frontier or something like that, and they had like 7 seasons that were each like 10 episodes long or something like that, 10 to 12 episodes. And they used to only be on their own website, because I remember downloading them. I remember their QuickTime files and watching those things. And I think each episode's like 20 minutes maybe or something like that. But and some even less than that. But I recently found they're on YouTube now, and looking at some of their old stuff that's all like 480p quality and stuff, and even less is quite interesting. But you see that, and then you see some of the higher quality things, like what is it? The new Void Phase 2, Star Trek Phase 2. I think it used to be called New Voyages, or maybe it's called New Voyages now. I don't remember which one. But they were examining or going after the original series. Phase 2 was like the Star Trek original series. It was a code name, I guess, for what Gene Roddenberry had in mind for what ultimately became like it was going to be a second original series, well after the first one, but still set in the same timeline. And then that ended up morphing into, after like Star Trek the Motion Picture took off and Star Trek 2 were really successful, they decided to kind of change change the setting a little bit, I guess is the best way I can say. And that ultimately became Star Trek The Next Generation, which was hugely successful and still is. Very much a boon to technology and scientists who grew up with that and love the heck out of it, and are now creating things that are oddly reminiscent of things that were on that show. But I was thinking about that, and I was reading an article, and I don't want to get too. I don't want to get mired in any kind of controversy or anything. I'm just talking. Just don't hate me. I'm trying not to say anything that would be bad one way or the other. But I was reading an article about the other Star Trek fan-made movie that was being produced. Let's go bring our colonists up while I'm talking about this. Let's go with a full supply run, a large rocket, and we'll bring several colonists up. I forgot to put the microflora down, but that's all right. We can make up for that. Let's bring. How's my food doing? Let's bring 90 of that up, and the water we could stand to just top that off. Why not? Why not? It hurts not a thing. Not even a fly is hurt. And I'll return with my continuing story. Alright, our colonists are arriving. How is our biology doing? It is the same as it was the last time I looked this, alright? Because I forgot that I needed the clay. So that will continue. How are we doing? The food will hold up for a little bit. Let's just see what this next strain gives me before we go crazy here. So yeah, I was looking at this. I was reading an article about this this fan film that was in the process of being made. There was a Kickstarter about it. It's called Axanar. It was I saw the preview for it, and it looked really good. It looked like it was very highly produced. Certainly, it was set in the time after Star Trek Enterprise, which was pre the original series. But after the formation of the Federation, and right when the Federation was butting heads with the Klingons. Alright, we gotta start putting some of these down. So let's do that right now. Let's go and put a 3.4 on there. We'll put a 3.2 on there. And a 3.3 on that one. And we'll get 3.3 on that one. And this one, we'll put a 3.2 on it for now. Where's that meteorite shower going to hit? You better not take out my farms, meteorite shower. I will not be your friend if you take out my farms. So yeah, I was reading up more about that, and there was it's mired in controversy a little bit, because what happened was they went on Kickstarter, and these fans did, and got some Kickstarter backing, something to the tune of $2 million, I think, to make this fan film. And it was, well, how can I put this without creating controversy or other things, without getting mired in the controversy? It was, suffice to say that there was a cease and desist levied against them by Paramount. There was a whole letter. I think there was like a 47-page letter, which I haven't gotten a chance to actually read. I think that just came out today when I'm recording this on March the 14th, Pi Day. And it was from what I understand, some of the things that were listed there as being infringing is not only were, you know, all the trademarks and copyrights and all that stuff, but they were collecting, some of the money that was being collected was being redirected to a production company that they were spinning up around that franchise, rather than all going towards the film. In addition to that, I think people on Twitter have been mentioning that they were trying to sell a XNR branded coffee that had like the coffee filters had, you know, trademarked Star Trek images on them and stuff like that. So they went well beyond the, I guess, good taste. Oh, man, that's a bad thing to say. That's not really what I wanted to say, but they went from the realm of we're just fans doing this for fans to no, we're gonna try to make some money off the back of intellectual property that we don't own and that we don't have the rights to, I should say. You don't necessarily have to own it, but you have to have the rights to it through some legal agreement to do these things. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the other series I was talking about, the other fan-made thing, Star Trek Phase 2 or Star Trek New Voyages, I can't remember what they call it now. I think they're one and the same though. They also, I believe, had some sort of crowdfunding and some Kickstarter. But from what I understand, all that money went directly to funding the film. Nobody was taking any paychecks like they were on the XNR deal. And they have been in contact, I believe, with Paramount. Like, Paramount knows about them. You know, it's not some random Joe Schmo. They've been, you know, they've talked to and or I don't know if they've got permission, but they're certainly not. They certainly didn't go off on their own and just say, screw it, we're going to do this. screw IP law. This is us now. Not that anybody has done that. I'm being a little bit facetious here. So, I was just thinking about that because it's just very. It's kind of relevant to like Let's Plays and stuff too a little bit because, you know, a lot of people will. I know that one of the things that they're claiming is that this is all fair use and that they're not, you know, that this is a fan film and they should be allowed to do their thing and all that stuff. But they went, I think most people would agree, they went a few notches beyond just fair use. They're like making coffee filters and stuff. They're trying to spin up a production company and they're funneling funds in a way that's not quite the way a fan would do that kind of thing, which I guess is also kind of a failing of doing the crowdfunding / Kickstarter route of things. Because, you know, if Kickstarter was more of a once you hit your goal, if you had the ability to say, okay, once we hit our goal, that's it, we're done, we're not going to collect any more money, this is exactly what we needed and nothing else will happen, or there was a good, like there were stretch goals that were deemed directly to this and there was enough transparency that, you know, people could see where that money was going, it wouldn't be so bad. But there's some stretches that have happened, I think, that kind of make this a bit of a unique case, if you will. Let's see. We need some more colonists up here. We can get up to 36. I should probably build. What do we need for this? 36, which we can get right to 36, can't we? And I can build some living quarters, actually, which would be quite nice, because that would give us a bit more of a run. What does this take? Level 2 refinery? We don't have that yet? We don't have that yet. I am so far behind here. What am I doing? I'm just sitting there talking. I'm sitting here yabbering away. Let's upgrade our refinery. Let's get some rocks in there. So yeah, you know, it got me thinking about the things that we do on YouTube and Let's Plays and stuff. Like, people are very quick on YouTube to claim like fair use of stuff. I know I'm kind of stretching it a little bit here, but it's when you're doing Let's Plays and stuff like I do, there's really no fair use that's going on here. Like, I'm not. The only thing I'm adding to this, oh, we can't actually get through there, really? I have that completely blocked off. Oh, there we go. The only thing I'm really adding to this is my voice and my editing. And part of fair use is there has to be significant changes made, you know, significant material, significant additions, significant changes to the underlying material. And simply playing the game may not be exactly enough. So a lot of times, you know, people are claiming fair use and stuff, and I'm like, nah, not really. Not really. I don't think that would ever hold up. I think it's more of a, we're in a situation where we are being what is it, permissible? Not permissible, but I guess allowed, permitted infringement, I suppose, where companies are sort of, and developers are sort of just willfully allowing us to upload videos and commentate over them, over their games, because ultimately we're not really harming them. We're actually, if anything, potentially helping them to market their games, and a lot of companies, Nintendo and Sega notwithstanding, have embraced that, I think, but it still doesn't make it legal, right? It's just a gray area that people overlook, that the developers, the people that own the IPs, are sort of allowing to happen, and I take that with the great utmost care that I can, because, you know, I know that this is not really kosher, and I know it's not gonna float, but, you know, I try to contribute whenever I can. But I see something like this Axanar thing going on, I'm like, you know, that's the kind of thing that, you know, someone on that, it just reminds me a lot of this, because it just feels like that's the kind of thing that you would see on YouTube. Like, you should pay me to do a review of your game because I am awesome, and this is fair, and this is, you're getting more out of this than I'm getting out of this, and that kind of thing. And I just, it rubs me the wrong way a little bit, because it's like, no, you're profiting. you're at that point, you're trying to profit. There's a point where you're trying to be a reviewer, you're trying to do your job, what has become your job, you're trying to be a boon to the industry, and then there's a point where there's a line that you then cross at some point, and it's a blurry line. It's not a very straight and narrow one, and I feel like the same thing you see with this Axanar thing, where it's like there was a line there, it wasn't well defined, but we do know that you feel, it does feel like you've gone past it. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm not trying to ruffle feathers. I just wanted to talk, and there's just things that, like, stuff like this I can't really talk about in Cube Ramblings, because I like to keep Cube Ramblings centered on just on gaming stuff, and this is definitely not gaming stuff per se, but it's you know, sometimes I just need an audience. I need a captive audience. just to make my life, just to make me feel better about things. So thank you for your for your therapy session here, my friends. You have allowed me to be cathartic in this regard. And in the meantime, hopefully I'm actually getting some things accomplished here. It doesn't seem like I am, so maybe I need to refocus a bit and, and focus more on doing things and less on talking. But what I'd like to do here is, as you're seeing, I'm just trying to expand out this way a bit. I just want to give myself a little extra room here too, because I want to put another oxygen generator down. In fact, we're going to do that right now. Let's put the oxygen generator. Let's put it right there so it's good to go. And then I'm just gonna put a habitat here. I don't really need it, but I just want to do it. I just want to put it there, just so it's there. Let's get this guy here. Let's get this guy going. Grab that, please, and oxygen generator. Oxygen generator. We're also on the cusp of the colony again, so I want to make sure that we get colonists up here, but we can get up to 36, which is the minimum that we really need for a viable colony. Well, a minimum that we need to get the full tech tree going. Also need to get some more genetics going here at some point, because we are quite low on those things. Let's get this one and cross our fingers and hope we get something better than what we got before. So this has got air. Let's open that up and open that up. And we will do the living quarters right there. That'll give us 12 more beds, which should be more than enough. Like I said, I'm not going to try to go for 100 beds this time around. It's just not. It's not worth it. I don't feel like we've got a decent colony going here, because I really boxed myself in. Having to put this down when I did really kind of forced my hand. Like I could build another biology lab over here and then just demolish this one and not lose my genetic research, but I just feel like it's ultimately not worth it. I would rather just finish out our tech tree and then we'll be done. Probably more than likely in the next episode we'll just be done doing our stuff here, done with the colony, and everything will be good and fine. Let's just let this guy get some oxygen and then we will call it, hopefully. How did my biology lab do with that last run? We got a 3.0. That's not bad. It could be better. Could be a lot better, but it's still nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at all. Where's that meteorite shower? Oh, it's up in the corner. Okay, you can be up in the corner all you want to be. Meteorite shower. That is fine by me. We have well gone past our date for when we can get another launch up here from Earth, which we'll probably get another supply run going. But we'll do all that in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hopefully I haven't bored you too much with my random ramblings. If you prefer me not to ramble on, feel free to let me know. I'm just trying something new. I'm trying something new. I am not beholden to any particular thing. I just kind of figured I'd try to inject a little bit more personality into this in the hopes that would be a little bit more entertaining. Oh, we got 3.2 out of that. Excellent. All right, on that note, thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.